Let's go to Imogen Makepeace, Town and District Councillor.
Yes, so I've come to talk about food waste here at the Neville event.
What you've got is 3 jars there showing the compost making process.
Particularly because most people on the Neville, I might even say everybody on the Neville, has a garden. And that means you can turn this, food waste,
bones, fat, anything that we cook or comes out of the kitchen.
into that lovely stuff there.
The kind of rich quality soil I'd buy in my garden centre.
In about a year.
You want green and you want brown mixed in. So the green, this time of year when the grass is growing and weeds, that's your green stuff. And then the brown is the cardboard or the straw, and then you add your kitchen waste.
Is there any order? Do you just slop it in there? Or
Well, ideally you layer it. That's what the books recommend, but at the end of the day, it will compost. The question is, the big debate is how much methane a badly managed compost heap gives off.
Okay.
But if it smells bad, it's giving off methane.
Smell this one. This is the. Oh, that doesn't smell too bad. Can you get that? There's a kind of citrusy smell, which isn't pleasant, but it is working compost. What you need to do is, if you're going particularly slimy, then you need to tear up cardboard, not with lots of printing on it, ideally, and layer it into your compost bin. You can put egg boxes, you could put straw, we were just talking about it just now, from collecting it from horse manure. That's very good to add the layer of carbon.
But it's also very important to keep it aerobic. You've got to have oxygen. If there's not any oxygen getting into it, it goes anaerobic, and that's when it starts to smell. I think the bins I'd really like to have for kitchen waste would be the ones that tumble. So
Yes.
you turn them so they aerate, and you get those. I'm reluctant to spend money. All the bins we get are freebies, or I build them out of pallets. The thought of going out and spending £200 on a nice compost bin doesn't really work for me.
Could be a birthday present.
Could be for you. Your birthday.
So there's this story, and it's about that there was a stag in Sussex, and this stag was magical, and he was so tall that his antlers tickled the stars, and when they tickled the stars sang. And because the stars sang, it made the earth ring and vibrate, and the people would all dance, and then they'd fall asleep and they'd have the same dream. They would dream as one. And then one day the stag woke up and he heard somebody crying and said, "Why are you crying? Why are you crying?" And the person said, "I want to make a cradle for my child and I need a knife." And the stag said, "Well, take some of my antlers and then you can make a knife and make a cradle, because children are important." So that's exactly what was done. But there was still plenty of antler to tickle the stars and make them sing, and then make the planet ring and the people dance, and then when they slept they had one dream. But of course, it didn't stop there, because the next morning somebody else was crying and saying, "It's cold, I need some buttons to close my clothes against the wind." And the stag said, "Well, buttons don't take much antler." So in the end the stag gave away even little arrowheads for hunting. And after a while the people got greedy, not just about meat but about stuff, and they took all the stag's antlers. And so no longer could the stars be tickled, no longer would they sing, no longer did the earth ring, and we weren't connected anymore, and the stag went off to wherever magical stags go. But what I am really inspired about, if we think of like a ringing bowl, and I've got one.
Okay.
And a ringing bowl is all vibration.
Yeah.
Do you still? Are you still? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And that's something like I imagine the singing of the stars
Yes.
was. And you've just told me something mind-blowing about what you do with your compost.
I told you, Xanthe, a few minutes ago, as well as putting in our kitchen waste into the compost bin, I also always put in my fingernail trimmings, my hair trimmings, my toenail trimmings, and any other bits into the compost bin. And I've been doing that for over 20 years. And I feel that I'm connected to the soil in my tiny little plot of land that we call home. We eat the vegetables that are grown in the compost that also contain tiny, tiny bits of my DNA.
Isn't that just wild?
And of course the family eats it too. So we're all part of the cycle. It's all earth to earth.
And now you're sharing it here, and I'm certainly going to go back and try my hand at composting, and I wouldn't if I hadn't had this conversation.
Oh, that's great.
It's all about connecting here.
Oh, it is.
Go from the Neville Estate to Seaford and hopefully to people who are listening at home.
Great. That's fun.